Oklahomans for Criminal Justice Reform put out like the saddest text-based tweet picture I've seen yet, which is Senate Bill 334 will accomplish nothing for Oklahomans. We've worked with our coalition partners to present research and outline the tremendous taxpayer burden of incarcerating people for shoplifting. But today, no graphics, no videos, just these words. And basically it says Senate Bill 334 turns misdemeanor shoplifting into a felony. And so I guess it's not quite through yet. I didn't actually look that one up. Legislature was quiet this week. So where is that in the system? So conference committee. So it's got to go through committee. But it's like the idea that, and you know, the debate that they'll have on this is, you know, probably via the pandemic or due to the pandemic, you know, there's more of these like petty crimes because, well, I don't know, maybe because 20 million Americans lost their fucking jobs and need to steal some shit to live. But, you know, let's pretend that that didn't happen. So it's like the only response we have to that condition is to punish people more. And what I find especially funny about even like property crimes, like somebody robbing your house, for example, is like, you know, say you rob my house, like you're going to get a TV that's like 6 years old. I mean, you know, you're going to get, you know, maybe a computer that's even older. Like you're going to get some like DVDs, like an old Nintendo Wii. Like,
please take my old Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna rob
steal
my
some of my
house,
clutter. Yeah.
I have the whole like Rock Band thing for Wii. You know, it's yours.
But it's like, so say you sell all that for like $1,000, you know, like at the pawn shop down the street, you're able to somehow manage to get $1,000. And I have no clue. I haven't pawned anything. So it may even be less than that, $500. We're going to turn around and incarcerate you at a cost of $35,000 a year. Like, I mean, just doing the rough math in my head, that's fucking stupid. Like, it's just, like, I would much rather you return my shit, maybe pay me a little bit back, help this person get their life together, get a job, get some help, then I would run them through the system for at a massive cost, many, many times what they stole from me. I mean, it's just dumb. Like, why would we do that? And shoplifting, it's even dumber. Like, they're stealing from like a nameless corporation, you know? I mean, like Walmart didn't give it. Like, Walmart could stop people from stealing tomorrow if they took some precautions. But they don't. Like, they you know, they offload it onto police departments and onto the criminal justice system, and they let people, you know, do all sorts of stuff. So, the point being, shoplifting is really, I mean, in many cases, almost shouldn't even be considered a crime. But, yeah, the answer is to give them a felony. Like, what do you think that's going to add to or detract from their shoplifting issue?
Exactly. Like, it's just putting people on this wrong foot that then they have that attached to them for the rest of their lives. And it's like, that's not helping them become, like, the goal of any type of punitive measures should be like reform, right? Like, you should go into this system and then you should be encouraged and able to like put yourself in a different situation that you wouldn't have to like be in that again. You wouldn't be that desperate again. Like, that is what we should be doing, is creating spaces that like challenge poverty, that like challenge these and uplift these people, because like those are the ones that need like a push out the door. Like, these are the people that need our support to like better themselves and help us as a society better them, because better people make a better society. Like, the more we give them the tools to find work, to find housing, like the more we're going to like be paid back as a society as a whole. So like the punitive measures from upgrading like shoplifting to a felony work in the opposite of that. Like, it puts them in a place of penalization for a year or two. It, you know, gives them something that is now attached to them that makes employment harder. Like, Winona Ryder shoplifted and we just decided not cast her in movies, which we all felt the pain for that.
Yeah.
Because she is amazing. I will stand for her. And so it's like, we know the harsh punishments of this, and we know how they don't work.
Yeah. And when you start, yeah, and when you just look at, when you really start hearing the stories of what these people who get stuck in this system and cycle, I mean, mothers stealing for like basics for their kids, and like, I mean,
Yes,
just stuff
baby
that is
formula is locked. Baby formula is locked up at Walmart.
just like,
It's
what sort of
you know,
hell society are we creating?
yeah, and I witnessed one time. I was like, this is gonna sound like such a privileged thing. I was standing in line at Starbucks, and I saw a woman running out of Dollar Tree with a basket full of goods, and like an employee chasing after her, and like the woman dropped her goods. And what were you picking up? You were picking up food. You were picking up, soap. It's like no one goes to Dollar Tree to shoplift in order to like make
Yeah,
a bunch of
get
money.
rich.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
get rich or, get a high. Like you do that out of a place of desperation, and making this a felony creates a deeper hole for these people to like crawl out of.
Yeah, there was a big thing. Quick Trip's been real big about claiming that people were shoplifting, and like that, and the amount of dollars too. Because what it was Quick Trip wanted to raise, because that's one of the things State Question 780 back a few years did, was raise some of the limits, because like it was like you could steal a very small amount and end up with a felony, and it was, I mean, it was just crazy. It was turning a bunch of people that didn't need to be into felons. But Quick Trip was arguing that like because we lowered it to, I think it was like down to $250, or we raised it to $500 instead of $250, and so Quick Trip was arguing that that was leading to this expansion in crime. And I'm like, who is stealing more than $250 in shit from Quick Trip? Like what are they coming in with? Like backpacks and just loading them up, and like you're just standing there watching them? I mean, every Quick Trip I've ever been in has security guards. It's like, I don't even know how it's physically possible to steal $250 worth of stuff from Quick Trip. Like,
Now they have wine though. It's totally possible now. You get some of those really cheap gallon of wine.
I
It's totally
mean,
possible now.
that's a lot of, still several gallons of wine to get to $250, and that's like this heavy. Like, how are you, pshing pshing, like clanging the way out? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's so dumb. And these corporations and people say this stuff. Because again, even thinking about stealing $250 out of Walmart, I mean, it's like, what are you doing? Walking out with like 6 basket loads worth of stuff? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can fill an entire cart at Walmart for $100. Like, you pushing out 3 carts at the same time? Like, no.
Yeah, the whole makeup section now at Walmart, you have to like check out there, or they put it all, and I'm like, you're gonna put my foundation in this box that like has a lock on it? It's like, and that's also like, these are massive corporations, Quick Trip, Walmart.
Yeah.
It's like you're telling me they don't have insurance that covers losses due to like people stealing it or whatever. Like, and it's just so problematic too, because it's like you use the word like these, it's turning people into felons. It's like, okay, I mean, it's something that happens in this country a lot. If you enter this border not following proper legal procedure, you become illegal. If you commit a felony, you become a felon. And it's like we really need to like walk away as a society from like labeling people like as this like singular event or the singular action. You're not a homeless person, you're somebody who's experiencing homelessness. Like, there are such problematic ways that we label people, but it's like, it's the reality that we live in, is that if you commit a felony, then you become a felon. That follows you. That becomes it doesn't matter if you're a really hard worker, it doesn't matter if you'll always show up on time, you're a felon, and that employer sees that first.
Yeah. And it's creating this weird, like, left hand, right hand situation where, like, you're creating lots of new problems with one hand, and then you're having to go back later and be like, well, now we need to create an expungement process. And, like, and it's like, you're just like, it's like, why don't you just stop doing the thing in the first place that criminalizes people for stuff that is treatable or fixable or avoidable? Like, I mean, yeah.
Well, and, to loop this back into like the fines and fee conversation, it's like Florida like bans felons from voting, and then they passed a measure that was like, okay, now you can vote, and it's like, oh, but you have to pay all your fines and fees first. So then it's like a poll tax. Like, the way that fines and fees are used throughout this country are devastatingly different than like the ideological, oh, you did this crime, so now you're going to pay a little bill and then everything's going to be fine. It's like, that's not how these are practically used. These are practically used as like deterrence and like horrible abuses against people, and then like eventually you get evolved to something like in Florida where it's a poll tax.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's an argument that is all by design, but it's a really gross design, and disenfranchising people is bad for society and just creates more problems.